Today we're going to be talking about a commercial that sparked major controversy, not because of the product it advertised, but because of the ideas it challenged. We are going to be examining the 2019 Gillette ad titled, "We Believe the Best Men Can Be." This ad was released at the height of the Me Too movement, and it confronted long-standing beliefs about masculinity and attempted to reshape them. Conversations about masculinity and gender roles are still relevant today, and these conversations are still being had. Me and Shane, as well as everyone in this class, went through this time in 2019, and we have seen the effects of this movement on the conversations of masculinity, and we believe we bring experience and understanding to this topic. While the Gillette ad attempts to challenge toxic masculinity, it also reinforces dominant male ideologies that are held, as well as excludes the voices of those who are harmed by these ideas. In this speech, I will first explore how the Gillette ad critiques toxic masculinity, how it reinforces dominant male ideologies, and finally, how it affects stakeholders. And now that we've talked about this artifact, we'll look into the argument it makes. As I stated before, the artifact we are talking about is the 2019 ad from Gillette titled, "We Believe the Best Men Can Be." It mainly consists of clips of harmful masculine behavior such as bullying, cyberbullying, news clips of reporters talking about sexual harassment and sexual assault, and catcalling. Throughout the commercial, these are underscored by older men saying boys will be boys, and it is excusing younger men from the blame of these issues. The tone shifts in this ad, and it goes into older men stepping in and intervening with these harmful behaviors and showing that accountability lies in other men. The ad ends with the message that the boys watching today will be the men tomorrow. So this ad was released, like I said, during the Me Too movement, when people all around the nation were calling for accountability for harmful masculine behaviors. Gillette is a brand that mainly targets men, and their ads have always been about the best men can be, and Gillette claims to be the best that men can get. And so this ad was released on TV and spread very fast on social media, YouTube, and sparked a lot of controversy between different groups. This ad attempts to challenge toxic masculinity by showing examples of these behaviors and putting accountability on other men to step in and prevent these behaviors. And according to Katz in 2013, dominant media narratives often place the burden for solving structural gender issues on individual men rather than addressing broader cultural systems that normalize these behaviors. And in the commercial, we see this because all the men who are doing these harmful behaviors, other men are the ones being accountable for them, and it is not being a systemic problem. It's being shown as one person causing these problems and another person stepping in. Some specific features from this ad that help to exemplify the argument this ad makes are the scenes where men are either bullying, they're catcalling, and throughout the ad we see these harmful behaviors, and then about halfway through the tone shifts and we see other men stepping in to stop these harmful behaviors. So some examples are a father steps in to stop his son from fighting, and he tells him that's not how we treat people. Another example is a man is about to catcall a woman on the street, and another man steps in and says, no, that's not a good idea. So these are examples where people are stepping in to stop this harmful behavior. And the ad also uses emotional music, as well as these little kids who are witnessing all these harmful behaviors. And when they say the boys of today will be the men of tomorrow, they're referencing the boys who are watching this behavior, and when they see these male figures step in to prevent this harmful behavior, the kids are looking at them almost like they're superheroes. So these rhetorical strategies frame masculinity as something that can be fixed and not as a systemic issue. it condemns these harmful actions, but it also kind of shows that as long as men are stepping in, then these behaviors are okay. And so, according to Messner in 1997, this limits the conversation to individual heroism and leaves out the systemic causes of toxic masculinity, such as gendered institutions, media representations, or economic inequality. And so, this ad um, highlights the media representation part of that, as all the people in the ad are men, and it's targeted towards men, and it's made for men. So, by making men the problem of toxic masculinity, this ad also shows that they can be the solution for toxic masculinity, and just centers all around men without including any of the voices of the communities that are harmed by this toxic masculine behavior. This ad's intent is to challenge toxic masculinity by promoting accountability from other men. It uses male voices and experiences, and it fails to include the experiences of those from the communities that are harmed from these masculine behaviors. Instead, it recasts toxic masculinity as a problem for men that can be solved by men when that is not the case. It minimizes the perspectives of those who are affected by these problems, and in doing so, it stays in line with dominant male ideologies that are long-standing and does not effectively challenge toxic masculinity. So while this Gillette ad opens the door to change, it still reflects a lot of dominant male ideologies that are long-standing. Now let's consider how an alternative ad might better combat toxic masculinity.
Hi, I'm Shane, and I'm going to be giving the second part to our speech. I'm covering the imagined artifact. So now that we've looked at how our current media artifacts often tackle toxic masculinity head on, I'd like to introduce an alternate approach, one that doesn't confront the problem with criticism alone, but instead choose to highlight and uplift the positive traits of masculinity. Our imagined artifact is a media campaign, perhaps a commercial or a short video that simply doesn't call out harmful behaviors. Instead, it redefines what it means to be a man by showcasing emotional vulnerability, mentorship, protection, kindness, as well as masculine strengths. As masculine strengths. We believe that one of the most effective ways to change public perception is not through confrontation, but through inspiration. While many well meaning campaigns try to correct toxic masculinity by showing what not to men by showing men what not to do, our version takes a different path. It asks, what if we simply showed what healthy masculinity looks like? So imagine this: the camera opens to a quiet suburban morning. A father is outside with his young daughter or son, teaching her how to dribble a basketball, or throw a baseball, or to throw a football. He's patient, encouraging, and smiling, not because he's trying to toughen her up or him, but because he values teamwork, shared joy, and growth. Moments like these, are the foundation of our ad. Rather than showing boys being told to man up or to stop crying, you're or if they're fighting being boys, um we'd feature scenes where fathers and sons talk honestly, maybe over a fishing trip or while fixing a bike together. In these moments, the men offer emotional support, teaching that it's okay to express fear, sadness, and uncertainty. That being emotionally open isn't a sign of weakness, but a mark of maturity. Another scene might shift to a young man on a date performing or posturing, but really listening. He's present, respectful, and confident enough to be kind without feeling like he has to prove something. These portrayals emphasize that strength and gentleness are not opposites. They can and should coexist. We we would also place a strong focus on fatherhood, not just biologically, but in a broader sense of mentorship. Our Imagine artifact will show fathers engaging meaningfully with their children, playing board games, sharing stories, helping with homework, or even learning something from their kids. These fathers are more than disciplinaries, they're role models, allies, and friends. The message is clear. Being a man doesn't mean being emotionally distant or physically dominant. It means being dependable, caring, and open. These are not alternative traits, they are masculinity at its best. It's important to note our target audience isn't just men. Key stakeholders in this campaign include fathers, mothers, and the creatives behind the message itself. By focusing on individuals rather than generalizing entire genders or brands, like the backlash some companies face when they try to tackle masculinity from a critical stance, we believe that this message will res- respond more positively. Instead of dividing audiences, our artifact invites everyone to reimagine what masculinity can look like when it's grounded in empathy and connection. It doesn't scold, it inspires. In summary, our proposed campaign would offer a hopeful, affirming perspective, one that doesn't ignore the realities of toxic masculinity, but instead chooses to drown it out with examples of the good. It's a powerful shift with reactive messaging to proactive storytelling. And in a world where media shapes identity, the kind of representation can make all of the difference. Now, in conclusion, as we explored today, the Gillette ad sparked an important conversation about toxic masculinity by confronting harmful behaviors and calling for change. But while that approach was bold, it was also framed masculinity is in a largely negative light. Our Imagine artifact takes a different route, one that doesn't just correct the bad, but uplifts the good by highlighting fatherhood, kindness, mentorship, and emotional openness. We can reshape how masculinity is portrayed and experienced in doing so. We do not reject masculinity, we redefine it, showing that strengths and vulnerability can coexist, and that truly is the best men can be. Thank you.